You're listening to the Quoted Podcast Season 14 with 10 episodes, 10 guests, and 10 quotes. So let's get into today's episode. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Quoted Podcast. Welcome to another episode. Today I'm talking with Songbird, also known as Skylar. So I'm very excited to be talking to you today. So welcome to the Quoted Podcast.
Yes, thank you for having me. I am super excited to be here.
Now, I thought we could start with getting to know you. So what are your favorite hobbies, or what do you like to do?
So, besides music, I really like to read. I'm a big reader at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
I also do a lot of like photography. I really like film stuff and just I like portrait photography as well.
Ooh.
And as of literally this morning, I started writing a book. I
How
know.
exciting!
I know, and it's so random, I feel like, but I'm really excited to explore this new chapter of my life and see how it
Mm-hmm.
goes. Because why not?
You know, I'm a writer too, so I'm
Love it.
see how this book ends up
Yeah,
looking.
I will definitely, yeah, I will
Yeah.
definitely let you know. I'll keep you posted. I just kind of started world building this morning,
Okay.
and I wrote the first chapter just to like feel it out. So it's going
Yeah.
good.
All right. I love that so much. Okay. Well, my first question for you is, what is your favorite story or testimony of how God has worked in someone's life, and how has it inspired you, if you have one?
Yeah, so I will say I really love Ann Wilson's story. So
Oh, yes.
before she put out music, I started working with the team that she was working with. So she was my what is it, vocal teacher. I like couldn't think of the word. She was my
Oh.
she vocal coached me for a few months, and we kind of became close. And she told me the story of her brother and how he died, and how she was kind of called to music, and how just kind of random her life kind of switched around, and how like God brought her to that place.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just very inspiring to hear like something so tragic can be turned into something good in a
Mm-hmm.
way. That's definitely a story that if people ask me, I always say that one because it just has stuck with me.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just very inspiring to hear like how music can kind of like heal, especially because that's music's always done that for me. Even though I don't write like Christian music and stuff, it's always just been a healing mechanism for myself. So
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm really glad you brought that up, because I was going to ask you about how you knew Ann Wilson, because I think that's amazing. And
yeah,
yeah, I love her for the first time last year, and it's crazy how young she is, because when
I
I
know.
like met her, I was like, wow, she's actually way younger than I think of her to be.
I know.
And she's done so much, which, yeah, I'm so inspired by her story as well. And I love her book. I love all of her
Yes.
music. So, yeah, that's really amazing.
Yeah.
And I was also going to say, like, for me, I like seeing everyone on social media, like Sadie Robertson Huff
Hmm.
and Georgia Brown. And there are so many Christian influencers that have the coolest testimonies. And so, yeah, it's really awesome to see how God works
Yeah,
in
I love it.
people's lives.
Yeah.
Okay, how do you think Christians can effectively engage with and support those who are exploring Christianity or are new to having a relationship with God?
So I would say ever since like again I started working with Anne and she put out music and stuff like that, like
Mm-hmm.
I felt like my relationship with God and everything just like has grown so much. I used to go like to church a lot as a kid, and then life just got so crazy busy. Like I have triplet brothers, so they like were in
Oh,
sports.
wow.
Yeah, so like we were always going to sporting events and stuff like that, and I wasn't really like going as much anymore. But I feel like listening like to her music and then finding other people that I like, in the Christian community. I just feel like
Mm-hmm.
for myself, kind of starting with the music getting like back into that and seeing how it's like affecting other people and just like spreading it. And obviously like
Mhm.
reading the word and stuff like that. But yeah, that's kind of like where I not restarted, but kind of restarted my journey with all of it, is through music, because I feel like I learn a lot through music. So that's kind of what
Mhm.
I would say.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I sometimes randomly see on YouTube like videos of people and it says like Satanist turned Christian or something.
Yeah.
The crazy title,
It's crazy.
and it always intrigues me, and it's really cool to see again how God is working and how people come to know him and how he reveals himself to them. Like,
Yeah.
you know who Joshua Bassett is, right?
I love him. I love the new song. I love that everything you're about to say. I just, yes, love.
Yeah. No, it made me so happy when he gave his life to Christ.
Hmm.
And I am just so happy for him. And I know everyone wants him to put out a worship album. And I really hope he does at
Me
some
too.
point.
That would be awesome. He's so talented. Like, I
Yes.
watched him in the High School Musical, the
Oh,
series, whatever.
yes.
Love it. I love just all that. So meeting him in that aspect, and then just seeing how much he's grown. And I think he said
Mm-hmm.
he's putting out an album, which I am so excited about.
Yes.
Yes, we need that desperately. So I'm excited to see that. And, if he does put out a worship album, I will 100%
Mm-hmm.
be there.
Oh my goodness. I'm so excited for his album. He threw that on us
I
though. Cuz
know.
we thought we were getting a single.
I know. It was so crazy.
But yeah, I'm so excited for that.
Me too.
If you could have dinner with any biblical character, who would it be and why?
I feel like this is a stupid reason, but I would pick Noah. I would pick Noah because he just like loves animals and like saved the animals and everything. And I'm just a
Mm-hmm.
big animal person. Like my favorite animal is a shark. I love sharks.
Ooh.
I love dogs. I love cats. I just love animals. So I feel like I could just sit there and be like, "Oh my god, don't you just like love sharks and how cool they are?"
Yes.
I I'm obsessed with sharks. It's like I have a tattoo of one. I have like my phone case. I'm just obsessed. So, I love animals.
I love animals too, and I think that's cool that you love sharks because I never hear anyone say anything about sharks, I feel like.
Yes, they're the
But
best.
I love having unique interests. Like I love guinea pigs and I
So
feel like no one
cute.
talks about them, but
That's
they're my
so
favorite.
true. Oh my gosh, I love.
Yes, that's a really cool answer though. I love that.
Thanks.
How do you think Christians can navigate the tension between being in the world but not of the world?
So, that's like such a good question. And I just feel like being a good person is like so important, especially like in the
Mhm.
word and stuff. And anytime like someone's asking me, they're having a problem and they're like, "What should I do?" And I'm like, "Just be the bigger person, because why are you gonna like stoop down to that level, or just
Mhm.
not be like a good person?" And like, I don't know. That's just me. That's how I would say
Yeah.
getting through it, especially in this world today. Like, you see so much, even with music, like so many people like worshiping the devil and all this stuff. And it's just like, why are we doing that? Like,
Yeah.
it drives me crazy. But that's what people want to do. And the most you can do is just like speak about the word, or again, like me sharing music from like Christian music and all that stuff, but just being a good person and respecting.
And to add on to that also, I think continuing to trust in God because for
Yes.
me it's overwhelming to see how many bad things go on in the world
Yeah.
sometimes, and it just reminds me that there are so many people that still need redemption.
Yeah.
They still need Him, and yeah, so trusting Him, definitely being a good person, always,
Yeah.
always, always. What is your favorite aspect of God's love, and how does it inspire you to love others?
I just love that he loves no matter what. Like we do
Mhm.
something stupid and, we're forgiven for it. And I
Mhm.
try to put that into my own life because people can drive me crazy and, things happen. But I do believe in like second chances and, as long as it's not something super crazy, obviously, we're just
Yeah.
talking like, surface level, like something stupid and, kind of just forgiving and, learning from mistakes or just learning about, if you make a mistake yourself, it's like just growing as a better person. And I just love that again, like he loves no matter what. And I feel like I can do
Mhm.
the same if he can do it for, everybody. So yeah.
Yeah. And just I feel like God's love shows us how to be better people and be more patient with one another.
Yes.
And so everyone needs his love because it helps us be better human beings to know how to love
100%.
like Jesus.
Exactly.
So, yeah, that's really awesome. Okay, I want to talk about your songs.
Hmm.
So, you have two songs out, Stubborn and Act Your Age. And I want to know what inspired you to write both of them.
Yeah. So I co-wrote these songs with Kaylee and Lowe in Nashville. And I sent her a list of song titles and I kind of had ideas for like what they could be about. And,
Mhm.
then we get to, the writing day and we started writing Act Your Age first. And I was like, yeah, at first I thought it'd be completely different from what we wrote about. And then we kind of were talking about stuff. And Act Your Age is about me and my fiance. We'll be together 10 years on the 21st of May.
Wow.
So we've been together a long time. And before before I wrote the song, we weren't engaged yet, but it's pretty much about how we first met. And we met back in 8th grade. And I always say it's like the angel and the devil on the shoulder. And the angel's like, oh my gosh, he's gonna be like your one true love, and you're gonna love him forever. And then like the devil on the other side's like, you don't even know his name. Like, what are you talking about? So that
Yeah.
song's kind of talking about like just all of that and all those feelings. And I feel like that can kind of like relate for anybody because, there are people that meet younger or, they just meet somebody. It's like, them forever. And then it's like, what do you don't even know who they are. Like, what? So that's what Act Your Age is
Mhm.
about. And then Stubborn is also about my fiance. Also goes a little bit deeper than that. It's, I say in the beginning, everyone around us is breaking up. And like in college, I met so many people that, their parents were divorced. They only talk to one parent, or, they, go back and forth to their houses or like whatever, just like super crazy, or just people always dating and breaking up. And, it's like that vicious cycle. And it's just like
Yeah.
a scary thought to have, especially like at the time when we wrote this, we were together 7, 8 years. So it's scary to think like, oh my gosh, if we ever did break up, like I would have to start over after being with you for this long. Like that's horrifying. But then it goes into being too stubborn to stop loving each other, no matter what happens, no matter, whatnot. Like we're in it for the long haul. Like we love each other and nothing can tear that apart. So that's kind of what
Mhm.
Stubborn's about.
That's that's really cool. I love hearing about like the meanings behind songs, and I love like the pop vibe that
Thank
these
you.
songs give, and they're really fun. Okay, I'm
Thanks.
gonna come back to your music in a minute,
Yeah.
but first I want to talk about the quote of the episode.
Yeah.
So I'm doing a new one each episode, and they're all random. But
Okay.
today's is you are allowed to be a masterpiece and a work in progress. So, what are your thoughts on this quote, and what does it mean to you?
So I feel like my thoughts on this is, you can like in my music way, it's like, you're allowed to have like your masterpieces. You love like I love my songs on stage and like those are like right now my masterpieces, but like I'm
Yeah.
also like a work in progress. Like I can still always, you always want to better yourself. So I know that
Mhm.
no matter what, like even in life, like I've known that I've done things that I've been so proud of, and I felt like this is peak existence, but I know that as life goes on, there will be more opportunities and better things that come my way. And, life just doesn't end after your 20s and whatever. So, and, it will get better. I'm in my mid 20s.
Yeah.
Cause like right now, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be 30 in like 6 years, and that's horrifying. But I know that my life doesn't end when I turn 30, and I'm always gonna be working on myself and just getting better. But that's what that means to me.
Yeah. And I wanted to add on to that because, yeah, I agree with that. And I wanted to say that I feel like there's a lot of pressure on being perfect sometimes.
Yeah,
And when you mess up, it feels like the end of the world. But we but like for me, I have to remind myself like I'm not perfect and I'm going to make mistakes sometimes and I'm allowed to be a work in progress and I'm
yeah,
allowed to be figuring things out still because not everything's going to go how I want it to. So, yeah, that's what I think about that quote as well and I
I love
really like that
that.
one.
Yeah, that's a good
Like
one.
about it's like about growing and learning new things
Yeah,
and not doing everything right. So,
exactly,
yeah.
and that's okay.
Of course, yes, it is. Okay, let's get to some fun questions before we finish off the episode.
All right.
So, I was wondering, do you think you'll come out with any new songs in the future?
Yes, I will. I do have a song that is ready to go, but it's for
Ooh.
a movie. My fiance wrote and directed a movie, and he asked me to write a song for it. So,
Wait, that's so cool.
yeah, so that hopefully, I think he said will be coming out in the fall. So whenever he gets a trailer for it, I think is when we're going to release the song. I don't know,
Okay.
but I definitely think later this year. I've also been writing so many songs, and I'm hopefully when I go to Tennessee in June, I might be recording. So we'll see what happens.
Okay.
But yeah.
Will this movie be in theaters or where will it be? Do you know?
So for right now, I know that they want to like put it in festivals and maybe like pitch it to like
Okay.
streaming services and stuff. So I'm not sure, but it might be on eventually. So eventually everybody will
Okay.
get to see it, and I will be posting about it on my social. I know all the information. They know the information, so stay tuned.
Okay, I'm gonna look out for that because I also want to hear your song, and I'm
Awesome.
excited to hear what songs you come out with in the future. Okay, because you go by Songbird, I thought this was a fun question. If you could have a superpower, what would it be?
I would love to teleport. I hate flying. I
Yes.
driving's okay. Like we drive to Tennessee and it's like a 13-hour drive, and I'm like, okay, but I could just teleport there and that'd be incredible.
Mhm.
So I would say teleporting, so I don't have to worry about any of that.
Yeah, I no, I would say the same thing for me because I do not like traveling that much. And just if I could just press a button and just go wherever I want, that would be the coolest thing ever.
Right? And then you don't have to sit on a plane for 14 hours going to like Europe or something crazy, and you're
Yeah.
like, ah.
Yeah, for real. Yeah. Okay, I see that you perform a lot. So what's your favorite thing about performing?
So I just love meeting new people, and in a way I feel like music, it like speaks to people. So I love when people come up to me and they're just like, oh my gosh, love your music, or I felt a connection to that song, like, is that your song? And we just get into conversation. I just like make new friends out of it. And I
Mhm.
when I'm singing on stage, I just feel at home. Like I know like this is what I want and I need to do. And in a world
Mhm.
full of so many talented people, you just have to keep going and push yourself and just be the best, that you can be. And I always give it 120% anytime I perform. And I love it. It's my favorite thing in the world.
I admire singers because I do not like talking in front of people. I'm the writer. only.
Fair.
So I think it's so cool how anyone who sings can just get up there and perform. And so I think it's awesome and I love it.
Yeah, it's the best.
Okay, do you have a favorite TV show?
I do. I love The Vampire Diaries, and I
Oh,
I
perfect.
know it's, people are like, that's so cringy, and it's funny because again, like my fiance, he does film, and he's like, that's your favorite TV show, and because he loves, like, I still love Breaking Bad and all that kind of stuff, but Vampire Diaries is my guilty pleasure. I love sitting down, I love watching it, and I don't know, even as a kid too, like I always liked vampire stories and stuff like that, along with my shark stuff that I loved, like Jaws. I was a weird kid, I
Mhm.
guess. But I just love that show, and I love seeing, how the adaptations of vampires and stuff. So
Yes. Oh no, that's perfect because that's my favorite show as well.
stop.
And yeah. Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
I watched it just randomly during COVID
Me too.
because I just yeah, and I needed something to do and I was very scared I wasn't going to like it,
Me
but
too.
I absolutely love it. And yeah, I'm so excited because I have my trip in 2 weeks from
Oh,
now.
that's right. Oh my gosh. You got me
I'm
all.
gonna be posting so much. Yes, I've been waiting for this since I watched the show, so I'm very excited. But
Oh
yes,
my
oh my
gosh, you should
goodness,
be.
love that show.
So
Okay,
good.
and you're in your reader era, which is
Mhm.
awesome. So I know you've been reading Sarah J. Maas. So what is your favorite thing about the Throne of Glass series, and what can you tell people to get them into it?
Okay, so Throne of Glass is my favorite series of all time, and it did get me back into reading. So I don't know if I'm just biased about it, but I feel like I see it on TikTok a lot. People saying how they think that it's better than the ACOTAR series. Sure, I agree with that 100%. But I just love the female character. I don't, Selena,
Mhm.
we'll say, if you haven't read
Yes.
it. She's just so cool, but she's also so, like, human at the same time, because like
Mhm.
you can see those emotions that she has, and she doesn't like hide that, and she's just unapologetically her, which I just love so much. And reading it throughout the series, like I just felt like I was there, like right next to her, and I just felt like her
Mhm.
best friend. And you just learn so much about this character, and as the books go on, it just gets better and better and better. And the love interest in the story and just where it goes. The last book, Kingdom of Ash, is like my top book that I've ever read in my entire life. I love it. And
Wow.
I got one of my friends who doesn't read because she's like, I have dyslexia. I'm like, just read it. Like, it's fine. Like, and she's obsessed now. She's reading, I think she's on Air of Fire. And that book is just where everything starts to go crazy, I feel like. And I'm just so excited. And I talked to so many people. I started a book talk, and I got all of these people to start reading it and just talking about it. But it's definitely worth the read, even if you're a guy. I know it's like a main, female character and stuff, but there's so much like lore and just so much good fantasy stuff that happens within the book. So I'm trying to get my fiance to read it because he's like kind of interested in it. And I'm like, it's not just
Mhm.
like girly, it's so much more than that. There are girly parts, of course, but it's so just like enthralling. I read it, I started January 13th and I ended it at like the end of May, I think, like halfway through
Wow.
May. I was obsessed. I could never put it down. Like I would go straight to the next book. And now I'm on the last Crescent series, or yeah, Crescent
Crescent
City
City.
series book. I'm halfway done with that. And then I don't know who I'm going to start reading next, but that's my little tangent about Sarah J. Maas. She is my favorite author ever. And you guys should read her books if you haven't, because she's incredible.
Mhm. Oh my goodness. Okay, I love Sarah J. Maas, but the only thing is I have had trouble with Throne of Glass. Like
Okay.
I really okay, so I read the first book. I didn't start with the prequel.
Okay.
I think it is. And then I went back to the prequel, and then I got the whole series for Christmas. And then I tried to read Crown of Midnight, but it took me forever. And I don't know what it was. I think I just need to have free time to sit down and read it so I don't get bored of reading it for a long time.
Fair.
So I need to get back into that because I've
Yes.
been wanting to finish the series. But yeah, I really wanted you to talk about it to get me more excited, which I am now because Air of Fire, I need to get to that one.
Yes, and my favorite book of the series besides the last one, and I know it's big, but I promise you, like, it's so worth it. It's so good. It's 984 pages, but it is the best 984 pages I've ever read. There's never a dull moment. But my favorite book is of Shadows. That's when everything just
Mhm.
starts to like come together. I feel like
Yeah.
it's just it's just so that book is so good. The series is just so good, and please, like, don't just like message me and I will like
Okay.
help you through the books if you need. Like, I just love it and I feel like everybody needs to read it.
Yeah. Okay, okay. Yeah, I will cuz I mean summer's coming up, so maybe I can get through it then
True.
cuz I am excited. But also I wanted to ask, how is Crescent City 3 going for you?
It's going really good. So the first two books, not that they were boring me because that's not the right word for it. It was just a lot of information because they're
Mhm.
bigger. I've mostly been listening on audiobooks because I'm just so busy. And I feel like maybe that's why I wasn't as like into it, but like continuing on, it just gets so good. Like this last book, I'm so interested to see what happens next because
Mhm.
it is just insane. It is so good. And again, the first two books, not that they were boring, it was just a lot of world building. And it is just so interesting, though, where it goes. And I feel like always her first book kind of is the world building
Yeah.
book. Especially listening to it, I feel like reading it, I'm way more into it. So eventually, whenever I reread the series in the future, I feel like if I sit down and actually read it, I'll be able to like obtain more as well. But yeah, the last book is so good, so worth reading, and I'm just very excited to see how it ends.
Yeah, and what's funny is everyone always says start with Throne of Glass, then go Akatar, then Crescent City. Well, I started with Akatar, and then I
Okay.
went to Crescent City, and Crescent City is my favorite.
Okay.
And I was so excited for the third book, but then I got it, and it was just I think I'm like 100 pages in, and it just felt really slow. And so I've set it down, and I haven't picked it back up yet. So I wanted to know your thoughts because I know you're further. So I'm
Yes.
glad to hear that it's good
Yes,
because I
it's
do need to finish that.
yeah, it's really good, especially if it's your favorite series of hers. Like you need to read it. Like
Yes,
it's
yeah.
so good. Especially like even if you have to do the audio for it, like I know they
Mhm.
don't really have it a lot of places, but if you can get it, it's so worth it to do it because it really helped me like learn everybody and just like kind of picture it. So I would do that if you're having trouble.
Okay, yeah. I'm definitely going to do that. Okay, well, that was all I have for today's episode. Um, thank you so much for talking with me. This was really fun.
Yes, thanks for having me. You're so sweet and I hope we
You
can
are
talk
too.
I hope we can talk again soon and I'll be messaging you
Yes.
about books and all that fun stuff.
Yes. Always do that. I love books. I'll talk to you later. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of the Quoted Podcast. Come back next Thursday for more.